Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. I have been married to my wife for more than 10 years, and we have a son. Recently, past few months, she has been on the phone with a colleague, let's say Mr. Johnson of hers, for most of the nights after work, confirmed by my son, as I work in a different room and she will be making my son sleep at night, and sometimes even on weekends. 3 weeks ago, my wife went on a team dinner where the rest of her team except Mr. Johnson left the dinner by 8. My wife was with Mr. Johnson from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. Around 11:30 p.m., I called her multiple times on her mobile, but she never answered my calls. Around 12:10 a.m., she texted me, asking me to sleep, and she is on the way back in a cab. The next day, when I asked her where she was, she mentioned that after the dinner she walked Mr. Johnson to his hotel where he was staying, and they were discussing office things on the walk back. For the last 2 weeks, I had to travel to a different country where my parents are for some personal matters. Over the last weekend I called her casually at around 7 p.m. as I wanted to speak to her as well as my son. She mentioned she just started from the office and is on the way and it would be better to call our stay-at-home nanny, which I did. Around 11 p.m., I checked out the CCTV child camera and found out that my wife is not home yet. I called her multiple times again, and she didn't pick up the call. I called her multiple times throughout the night, but she never answered my calls. I checked the CCTV the next morning, and I saw her coming into home at 8:30 a.m. She called me after reaching home, and I asked her where she had been, and she mentioned she was at a party with her colleagues. I asked her who all were there, and she started getting angry and defensive. Once I traveled back from my parents' place, I again asked her about who and where the party was. She mentioned they didn't go to any restaurant and were sitting near a famous drinking spot and drinking throughout the night and had the company of Mr. Johnson and another guy and a girl. I asked her if she had any photos of the party, and she told me there were none, which I found hard to believe as she keeps taking photos for posting on social media. I asked her why she didn't pick up my calls, and she mentioned I would spoil the mood of the party as I might get angry at her over the call. I also asked her that if I hadn't noticed it via CCTV, would she inform me about it, for which she told me she would not inform. During our arguments, she kept saying she cannot change these things and even mentioned I am a boring guy and not much fun. For your information, I have never ever told her not to go to any party, but I conveyed my displeasure in her interaction with Mr. Johnson. I love her, but with all these above happenings, I have lost trust in her and feel kind of betrayed and feeling very down. She keeps saying she loves me when I am around, but now I feel like it is all just fake. I have booked a marriage counseling session to discuss this out. Can someone please advise if I am overreacting here or if something can be done here? I happened to check her phone and saw she had booked a cab from where we are staying to a hotel at 10:30 p.m. and reached the hotel at around 11 p.m. She had already had a team dinner with the team and had food and beer, and she was back home. I saw the pictures of the team dinner. Now, when I asked her about this, she mentioned that after the team dinner, they had a drinks party sponsored by the client company at the hotel where they were staying, and she had been to that, and people from both companies were there, and she was back home by 12:30 after just having one cocktail. Apparently, I also checked our nanny's phone and saw a message from my wife, which was sent the next morning, Friday, in which she mentioned she already left for office early and to give my son breakfast and send him to school. The message was sent around 7 a.m. I checked our cam and saw that our nanny and my son were awake by 6:40 a.m. that day, and if she would have to leave without seeing them, she should have left by 6:30 a.m. at least. I also checked with our nanny if she heard someone come in or go, as we have a smart lock and it makes a sound when you open and close the door, for which she told me she didn't hear anyone that night. Now I know that she is not a morning person. As per her story, she was home at 12:30 a.m., and she would have to wake up at least by 6 a.m. to leave by 6:30 a.m. This too after multiple drinks the previous night. I also saw a message from her on the nanny phone stating she will be home for lunch by 1 p.m. on Friday, and this message came in around 12:30 p.m. on Friday. Now what I can derive from this is that she never came back home on Thursday night and sent a dummy message to fool our nanny that she was home and went back to the office early. She was sleeping somewhere else, and she came back home directly at 1 p.m. without even going to the office. I had enabled camera recording only on Friday, so I couldn't see it on camera either. I also asked her what time she went to work on Friday before revealing that I saw the messages she sent to our nanny phone, and she lied that it was 10:30 a.m. When I told her about the messages, she said she went early and she forgot about it. For the 2 weeks I was away, I also came to know that Mr. Johnson came to our apartment, not inside the house, and my wife had asked our nanny to make some food, and my wife had packed it and given it to him and returned back in 15 minutes. I asked her about this as to why she has to do these, and she mentioned it is just food and what the big deal is in it. They meet every day at work and have also met over weekends. I got all this info from the transport card. Apparently she gave one of our old bus/train transport cards to Mr. Johnson, and I was the owner of it so I could see where he went. Now this Mr. Johnson is not from where we are residing. He was a visitor from a different location, and now he is back in his home country. My wife and he interact a lot as they work together and are part of the same project. She and her colleagues even travel for business to Mr. Johnson's home country, as it is where the company headquarters is, and have meetings, workshops, etc. there. With all these, I have confronted her. But she keeps saying Mr. Johnson is just a coworker and nothing more. She agreed they talk a lot, but it is mostly about work, business, and career. She keeps saying I am the only one she loves, and she hasn't slept with anyone. But I know she is hiding something from me, and I think it is friends with benefits or something of that sort. I am depressed, devastated, and suicidal after all this. We have known each other for more than 12 years. I have been with her in ups and downs and have always supported her, be it for studies or her career. I can't imagine this happening to me. I am not able to concentrate on my work, not able to sleep at night, just totally lost. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.